Your body is constantly talking to you, but are you listening? Today, we'll break down the signs of the nervous system dysregulation and the simple shifts that we can help you feel safe and control again. Welcome to It Starts at Vegas, the podcast where holistic health meets modern living. I'm Emily, your guide to unlocking the power of the vagus nerve, which is your body's ultimate key to calm, connection, and overall well being. Together, we'll explore simple ways to nourish your mind and body with natural remedies, actionable tips, and empowering stories. Whether you're here to reduce stress, restore balance, or take charge of your health, you're in the right place. Because wellness doesn't just happen, it starts at Vegas. Let's dive in. Your body is constantly sending you signals about your nervous system, but how are you paying attention? Today, we're going to break down the signs of dysregulation and explore simple ways to bring yourself back into balance. So, first off, you might be wondering, what is nervous system dysregulation? So, just in a brief bit, it's how the autonomic nervous system works. The autonomic nervous system has two main branches, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. The sympathetic nervous system, that is our fight or flight action. It's when we're scared. So scared and sympathetic, both at S's, it kind of helps you remember. But it is activated when you're stressed or you're preparing your body to respond to danger by um, views of threat. So when your body feels that it's being threatened, it starts saying, okay, let's increase your heart rate. Let's tense your muscles, get them ready to run or fight. Let's be prepared. And at the same time, your mind starts sharpening its focus. You can really just pay attention to what's going on, but it's usually paying attention to the problem. It's guarding itself. It wants to make sure that it can feel safe when it doesn't feel like it's in a safe situation. Now, the parasympathetic nervous system, the second part, is our rest and digest. It helps you relax, recover. It helps you restore your balance by slowing down your heart rate, and you can breathe slower, deeper. And this in turn helps improve your digestion and promotes that overall calmness feeling. And this is where we start using the vagus nerve. It's where we're saying, okay, we're kind of in that fight or flight response. Now let's help our system calm down, get out of that um, guarded feeling so that our body can just rest, digest, and be happy. It just wants to calm down. It doesn't need to be on guard all the time. But I do need to make a note that this dysregulation isn't bad per se. It is more of a survival response. It's a really good thing we have it. We just don't need it to get stuck in that mode. And that's where I see a lot of my clients that come in with high anxiety. That's where they get stuck in that cycle of stress, tense muscles, and then the tense muscles feed their stress, and it kind of gets that cycle. And that's what we really focus on to interrupt that feeding cycle. So that is what I want to share with you, is just how that vagus nerve is such a key and an easy one, a simple, easy, pain-free way to bring our body back to being calm. So now that we know a bit about the sympathetic nervous system and the fight or flight and the shutdown, let's discuss the signs. So this is what really got me interested in the beginning when I was digging more into about the vagus nerve. What caught my attention is that it connects so many dots and explained why some people were really stressed out and guarded, and while other clients that I was working with really just like shut down, and it would take them moments to respond to a question. And so the two really are different. They're still in that scared feeling, but it's just a different way how they respond and how their body just says, okay, which degree do we need to take it? So even though they're both activated by the sympathetic nervous system, they still present differently. So the fight or flight signs would be feeling anxious or restless, kind of on the edge. You've got the racing thoughts and the difficulty of focusing on things that aren't um, urgent in your mind. So you might have all these underlying feelings and fears, and then therefore have a harder time focusing things that your body doesn't put priority on. Because again, your brain says, let's make sure you're safe. And if it's not in that realm of worrying about you keeping safe, it might just push it away. So it's not going to put urgency on resting because it's not sure if it's safe. And so this is where we start getting easily irritated at little things, reactive. We get tension in our body with like jaw clenching or tight shoulders, even stomach issues. All of that is part of the fight or flight. But the shutdown part, which is part of the dorsal vagal response, it has the fatigue, the low energy, kind of like the checked out. I can't even respond. It has that kind of sign. It's where they start feeling numb or disconnected from emotions because it just gets so overwhelming. The brain just goes, that's enough, done, just shut down because it's too much. Your brain does put priority on things. A good example of this, of the brain putting priority, is let's pretend get a paper cut on your finger. Now that's, not enjoyable and it gets your attention. But if you were to slam your hand in a door, the other hand, your brain's going to focus on that hand, not the paper cut. So it really just says, hey, which one needs the most attention? Which one's most critical for us to survive? And that is, after a while, it just says, let's put these in priority. And if it gets too much and too heavy, your brain just says, you know what? We're just going to pause and ignore it. Kind of like when you slam your hand in the door. Sometimes it's such an adrenaline rush, you don't even feel the pain until a few moments later. Like, it should hurt, but when you first slam it's such an intense feeling that it doesn't even process. And that's kind of what happens when we're just too bombarded. It's too heavy of a feeling. We just need to shut down because that's the only way the body's like, we need to rest and you're not resting. So we're just going to make you. And that is where we start avoiding people and procrastinate because it's, again, another thing that our body's just like, nope, we've got too much on our hands right now. We're just going to take ourselves and we're going to hide. Because again, the body or the brain wants to keep us safe. And until it feels safe, it's going to protect it in any way that it can. So, how do we shift back into regulating to where we can go from protective and survival to that rest and digest? So, if we're at that fight or flight or response, to get some deep belly breathing, to get that full lung expansion, diaphragm expansion, because that's where we're really going to get that oxygen in. It helps tone our vagus nerve because, again, the vagus nerve is part of our breathing. And when we're in that fight or flight, we often breathe with our shoulders. We can get those really short breaths, and they're not very full of oxygen because they're just short and we're just breathing with our upper traps. But when we breathe with our diaphragm, it helps get our lungs full of oxygen. And that in turn will help us slow down. That oxygen is going to help relax your muscles, and you will start feeling calmer. You can also incorporate some gentle movement. So if you just want to do a nice little walk, a little brisk walk, again, we're not going to run like we're in danger, but a nice calm walk is really, really helpful. It helps clear your brain, and it says, okay, we're strolling. And strolling means that nobody's chasing us, so we're fine. If you are experiencing that shutdown mode where life just feels too heavy, the in my opinion, one of the best ones to activate that vagus nerve is to call a friend. It start getting that social engagement. Because with social engagement, when we realize that that vagus nerve is working really well, we feel better when we have someone to talk to. So if you have a friend, or even if you have a pet and you just start making that eye contact with them, it helps you feel that all is well. And it helps you getting out of that feeling of the doom and gloom and not sure of what the world is going to present itself. When you make those connections, it helps just like ease that up. And it's just such a good feeling when you have a friend just to talk to and relate to. And if they have, experiences where they shut down, it's really just helping each other and bringing that community feeling. And we're humans, we're meant to interact with one another. So that's probably one of my favorite ones. But sometimes it's so overwhelming, we don't even want to do that. So we can do gentle movement again, but this time it's going to be more rocking, more soothing type of motions. You can do some stretching. And let's just say you're even in your bed and you're not even willing to get out, where you can do that, even just like wiggling your toes and your fingers. That helps just activate some motion in you, and it starts feeling better. Again, it's just you have some control of it, and it will start that domino effect to where you can start feeling like, okay, I wiggled. Now I can get out of bed and maybe I can shower. Or if I can't do that, I can call my friend. I can lift up my phone, give my friend a call. So all those little things. We just need little steps to make it feel better. It's just that snowball effect. Little things. We are not looking for big things, just simple steps. Because there may be times that you're just in the thick of it, of either that fight or flight or the shutdown, and you don't know what the step is. My recommendation then is to focus on your breathing. It's a good go-to. Again, it tones the vagus nerve. It slows everything down so your brain goes, okay, we're not being chased. We're not in a panic. Oxygen getting all over your body is always a plus. Getting those nutrients moving within your body. And it's easy to do. It's free. It's painless. These are just simple things. And if you can't remember, breathe out. Just do a slow, deep breath out, because you're automatically going to breathe in. Your body's going to require that. So if you take a slow, deep breath out, well, you're going to bring in that air. So, at minimum, if you're having just a really, really hard day, just breathe out. And again, that breathing in will happen. And then you can focus on, am I belly breathing? If I put my hand on my tummy, does my hand go up and down? If not, you might be breathing with your upper traps in your chest. But we really do want that belly breathing to get that full expansion of your diaphragm. And that's just one way to tell is if your hand goes up and down off of your belly when you breathe in and out. So just do that for a few minutes and regroup. Say, does this make me feel better? Is there another thing that I can do? And get the ball rolling from then. And if you can't, then just keep breathing. If anything, you'll just take a nice little nap, which goes back into that rest and digest, the calm state. And that's always win. A nap is always a win, in my opinion. So just remember that when you get into this fight or flight or even the shutdown, it's your body's way of protecting you. So you might need to do some journaling to say, why is my body reacting at so extremes without being able to get out by itself? What is my body protecting me from? And then adjust life from there. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, but you know your body is taking it in. If it's telling you to shut down or to get ready for a fight or run, your body's using those cues. So the more you recognize it, the more you can adjust these little shifts. Sometimes we might not always be able to change our surroundings, but we can change how we react to that. I know it's kind of said a lot, but there's a lot of truth to it because you can just do these simple little things and nobody notices. That's the best part. Like nobody notices if, you take a few minutes, go to the bathroom and breathe. They're like, well, she's just in the bathroom. No big deal. Meanwhile, you know that you're just helping your nervous system settle down so you don't become reactive, so you can just enjoy the day, take those few breathers. And it's just trying it out. That's the best part is that we can test all these things. We can try them and see which one feels best to us. Because my go-to might not be exactly what your go-to is, and that's why it's so great having all these different options. But breathing is one that I recommend just because that is necessary for life. It's easy, it's automatic, but how we breathe, we can influence that. So today, just try practicing that belly breath, see how it feels. And when it feels really good, recognize that because your body needs more recognition of what feels good because it's always on that guard state. It's always making sure you're going to survive. So when you say, it's okay, let's just breathe, it's typically really enjoys it. And it's going to start moving that direction as more of a default the more you practice it. So thank you for spending some of your day with me. I really appreciate it. And remember to breathe and do at least one thing today that makes you happy. Thanks for listening to It Starts at Vegas. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you're ready to take the next step toward calm, grab my free Vegas Nerve Reset video in the show notes. It's a quick and easy way to start feeling better today. And until next time, remember, wellness starts at Vegas.